Hello everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem heroes, and tonight we should be getting the reveal of the next set of new heroes to get dropped into the game in just a few short days. I have the trailer pulled up right now so we can watch it together for the first time. I'm not currently looking at my screen, but before we get started I will just remind you that if you do enjoy the content that we put out, including Fire Emblem heroes videos, and you would like to support the channel, please consider subscribing, leaving a like down below, and letting us know the types of content that you'd like to see from us going forward. So with that, let's hit play and let's get started. I have pretty much avoided getting spoiled. I know there's a lot of leaks out there. New heroes join the battle. I have some significant speculation about who we're going to be getting. Man of Mysteries. Okay. We're getting Volk. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He's an infantry red dagger unit. Fireman's Hook. Interesting. Lethality for the special. Oh, is that going to be dagger exclusive? I am curious about that one. Because I like that. I like them expanding that whole thing. Resolute Damsel.
I am Astrid.
Astrid. It's very old school classic looking art. So she's going to be a cavalry green archer. Damiel Bow, Speed Defense Bond 4, Ruse, interesting, okay. Okay, next up we've got Petulant Knight.
I used to be in the Vignon Holy Guard, but...
Oh, I like her hair wings that are back there. Marcia, going to be a Flying Lancer, so she is going to be the 4-star focus unit of the banner. She's got Fury 3 and Unbound Lance Plus. That's neat. Oh, we are going to get a new Ascended hero. It's Laegjarn, right? We haven't seen her in the game. This is the reveal of her art. Oh, she looks so good. Flame Ascendant. She looks magnificent. Wow, she's a cavalry archer. They got Pennicord to do her art this time. Interesting. Flame of Muspel is her bow, apparently. She's going to have a trace skill, Swift Sparrow. I mean, I knew they were... Oh, I love the flame in her eye. That's so cool. I knew they were going to give her, like... Okay, Spectre of Nidavellir, final story chapter. So we're going to close the book out. I mean, this is it. This is it. And it looks like Atri is back there, too. Does that mean that we get her for free? It's not entirely clear. So Marsha is going to be 4-star focus unit of the banner. There's actually a lot of trailer left. I'm guessing it's just going to talk about the whole... Oh, Tanith! Well, we're getting, like, out of seasonal hell. Tanith is going to be introduced. And naturally, the whole Ascendant Floret, or Ascendant Floret. Okay, excellent. We know what that's all about. Anything else new that's going to be revealed here? No, and of course, Ascended heroes themselves will not have to... And then you've got the pity... Yeah. So Ascended heroes, of course, will naturally have a double boon, double asset, so you don't have to worry about that, and you can guarantee yourself one of the units by going to the Spark / Pity. So starting on the 16th, and we'll be here for basically most of a month. It's essentially going to be a bunch of new heroes plus Laegjarn. So this is actually the reveal of her skills and her art. I am a big fan of Laegjarn. I think she's great as a character, one of the best original characters I think created for Fire Emblem heroes. And I was really, really looking forward to the Ascended version, and the art for her looks pretty fantastic. She's a cavalry archer, I'm going to be honest, not my favorite class as far as movement type. I don't really use cavalry in a lot of capacities, but I was expecting them to mix up the movement type like they did with Fjorm. Naturally, she was infantry, and then she became armored in her Ascendant form. And it's kind of an interesting juxtaposition, right? Because Fjorm turned into this big tank, and then I'm guessing Laegjarn is going to be like super offensive, high power nuke, because she's higher mobility, like basically maybe the opposite. I don't know. We'll have to see what her stats and skills are like. But with the new Ascendant Floret feature, these banners just have enormous value in getting those and being able to give another one of your units 2 assets, 2 boons. Now bear in mind that these heroes are not going to be limited in any capacity, so you will be able to pull them just randomly as an off-focus 5-star on any successive banner after this one. And again, they kind of tossed in an original character alongside a series, alongside fan favorite characters from the series. When they do that, they often add in an additional character drop, and in this case, it was Tanith, which is pretty interesting. Well, let's rewind, take a closer look at their skills, and see if this is ultimately a banner that I think is worth pulling for. So Kita Senri doing the art for Volk, doing a fantastic job. He has this kind of a rugged, debonair look. I do like it. The belt kind of flowing behind him, his arms crossed, got this smug look on his face. Definitely looks like he's up for underhanded tactics. He is going to be a red dagger unit, which is, again, very interesting. So he has his own unique weapon, Fireman's Hook, 14 might, accelerate special trigger, so killer slaying effect. If unit initiates combat or is not adjacent to an ally, grants a +5 to all stats as an in-combat bonus, neutralizes penalties that inflict special cooldown charge -1 on units. So neutralizes guard, and grants unit special charge +1 per unit's attack during combat. So it also grants him an additional special charge. That's not too shabby at all. And then, of course, the standard dagger debuff. So killer slaying effect is very, very good. Gets +5 to all stats with a very, very easy condition to meet. Player phasing or just not being adjacent to an ally. Either one of those, don't need both of them. And then the whole, basically neutralizing any guard effects and ensuring that he gets additional special charge, along with the killer slaying effect, is going to ensure that he gets his special off, as often as he needs to. Now, he has a new special, Lethality, 4 cooldown. When special triggers, treats foes' defense and res as if reduced by 75% during combat, disables non-special skills that reduce damage by X%. That is pretty darn good. That is a Super Luna that disables damage reduction as long as it's not a special skill that has the damage reduction. Very strong, and honestly, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that it's going to be dagger exclusive, which I was talking about earlier. I really do like the idea of weapon types having their own kind of exclusive specials. I think that really would help to differentiate the classes a little bit more in a lot of different ways, and I think that it's a great way to do it. I'm fully on board if this is in fact a class-specific special, and I'm thinking that it is. Sturdy impact for the A slot, very, very solid. An attack boost and a defense boost when they player phase, and then it eliminates the threat of the enemy making a follow-up attack. Very strong. Null follow-up 3 for the B slot. Neutralizes effects that guarantee follow-up attacks and effects that prevent units follow-up attacks during combat. So that's going to ensure that he is going to be able to double and then ultimately proc lethality. Times Pulse 3 for the C slot. At start of turn, if special cooldown count is at its max value, grants special cooldown count -1. So looking at this practically on the battlefield, lethality has a 4 cooldown. Fireman's Hook has a killer slaying effect, so that's cutting it down to 3. Times Pulse will cut it down to 2. And then he gets an extra special charge when he attacks. So that means that on his first initiation, assuming that he does double, he is going to hit once, get the 2 special charge. Any guard effects will be nullified, so he's basically going to guarantee himself to get that extra charge. And then on the second hit, he is going to proc his lethality. So that's kind of the game plan for this character as a whole. He has a lot of things in place that are going to ensure that he's not prevented from doubling, and he's not prevented from getting special charge. And that's really kind of his endgame. Astrid is going to be a cavalry green archer. Very interesting that we're getting a color dynamic with the physical ranged weapons on this banner as a whole. But I like her art. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites or anything, but it has that classic, clean, kind of old school look and appeal to it, I feel. Very gentle expression, kind of soft shading overall. Not hugely dynamic, a lot of functional armor and cloth. And you do, of course, get that resemblance to Larse and Ira here. But yeah, she looks nice. So Damiel Bow, it's going to be 14 might, her exclusive weapon, effective against flying foes, grants speed +3. If a rally assist skill is used by unit, grants target, bonus doubler, and target can move 1 extra space. That turn only, does not stack. No effect on cavalry allies with range equal to 2. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed +6 to unit during combat. Okay, so that does give her more of a support-based role. I will say that me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think you can certainly do some nasty shenanigans and movement-based shenanigans in Ether Raid defense with this type of thing, just like with a net, for example. Having the ability to grant another unit an extra movement space, it does have some limitations, of course, But being able to do that with the rally and have a rally trap and things like that, yeah, you can do some nasty stuff, I'm sure. But functionally, as a whole, I'm just not the biggest fan. So for people that like to rely on those strategies and tricks, she's basically perfect for you. She's gonna have increased range because she is cavalry. She's going to be able to move across the map and rally somebody. By rallying them and giving them bonus doubler, she's effectively doubling the effect and the buff that she gives them. And not only that, they have an extra movement space. So all that stuff is very, very solid. Like I said, she has rally, attack, defense plus, speed, defense, bond 4. It's interesting, we are finally getting the speed defense version of Bond 4. I think Bond 4 is actually pretty darn good. Does give +7 to both of those stats if they're adjacent to an ally, and neutralizes any penalties to those stats. And then attack defense ruse 3, if rally assist is used by unit or target's unit, inflicts attack defense -5 and guard on foes in cardinal directions of unit, and targets through their next actions. So naturally that synergizes with Damiel Bow and her support role naturally. She's not only going to be able to grant one of her allies that extended range and huge buffs to attack and defense, she's also going to debuff the enemy and inflict guard on them all at the same time. So she's going to be kind of an all-in-one if you're going for that type of a strategy. Next up, we got Marsha as a Lance Flyer. I think the art is really cute. The pink with the blue is very lively and vibrant. She has a bright smile on her face. I do like the double ponytail that she kind of has going there that does kind of look like she's got pink wings behind her almost. It's actually a pretty fetching design overall. And I will just mention that I appreciate Kipu keeping her head at a pretty normal size here. Kipu sometimes has a tendency to kind of overbloat the size of the head of their characters, but thankfully that's really not the case here with Marsha. I think she looks pretty great. So bearing in mind that she is again the 4-star focus unit of the banner, and she is going to be an insta-demote essentially after the banner is over. So she comes with Unbound Lance Plus. This is going to be inheritable. If a unit is not adjacent to an ally, inflicts attack defense -5 on foe during combat and neutralizes foes' bonuses to attack and defense during combat. That's okay. That's decent. It's not an amazing lance or anything, but it's fine. Luna for the special, Fury 3 for the A slot, Speed Defense Gap 3 for the C slot. So yeah, honestly, Marcia doesn't have a ton going on. Her lance could definitely see some use, but otherwise, everything else she has is either accessible or honestly not terribly exciting when you look at the gap skills. So, quite honestly, she could be a decent merge project, going to be relatively easy to have access to, but we're also we don't have any shortage of Lance Flyers as well. It's an extremely, extremely competitive movement plus weapon combination, so she's facing some stiff competition there. And here is Ascended Laegjarn as the cavalry bow user. Penacor picking up the mantle as far as doing the Laegjarn art, and I think they did a pretty great job at representing her. Soft colors and shading. I do enjoy the flamboyant design of the flared out skirt, for example, with kind of like the spiky edges of it. And it's all very angular, except for her own natural curves, of course. There's just a lot of spikes, like on her shoulder, her pauldron. On her head, she's got those pseudo ears. I absolutely love the flame coming out of one of her eyes. I think that's a really cool effect. Feathers around her arms, the black and the gold and the red, all really coming together. And again, with the angularity of some of her accessories, it almost has this Egyptian look and appeal to it. I think it works really, really well. So, oh boy, let's take a look at her skills here. So, Flame of Muspel, going to be 14 might, has a killer slaying effect, and of course effective against flying foes. If bonus is active on unit, grants attack speed +6, and all stats during combat equal 50% of total bonuses on unit and foe, max +12. And also, if total bonuses on unit and foe are greater than or equal to 10, neutralizes effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks. Okay, so she's going to be heavily based around having bonuses to herself, right? So the most common activated buff that you would have on a character would be +6 to each stat, right? So that would count as a total of 24. If you had +6 to every stat, you would have a +24, and then 50% of that would be a max of +12. Do you see where the logic was there? They were saying if you manage to get +6 to all of her stats, then that's essentially maxing out the total bonus that you can get. So you get maximum of +12 to all of her stats. So in addition to the +6 to attack and speed, so that's a lot of in-combat buffs based around having a bonus. So I like that the player has a lot of control here as far as the build is concerned and team composition is concerned to ensure that Laegjarn has and maximizes her bonuses. And not only would she maximize her bonuses as far as +12 to all stats, +6 to attack and speed, she would also effectively get this neutralizing effects that prevent her follow-up attacks. So she's going to double with some impunity as long as she herself has equal to or above 10 bonuses, which again seems to be a relatively easy threshold to meet overall. She's got Moonbow for the special. A little underwhelming, I would say. I get what they're going for. Essentially, that means that since she's going to double with impunity, that also means that she's going to proc Moonbow on her first initiation, since it's a 2 cooldown special. But I think obviously, as an archer, she could go with Deadeye. You could go with all kinds of things. Swift Sparrow 3 for the A slot. On player phase, grants attack +6 and speed +7 during combat. Attack Defense Far Trace 3 enables Kanto Remainder. Inflicts attack defense -3 on foe during combat, and naturally also gives Kanto Remainder. So naturally that's going to help her a lot. Kanto, of course, is very, very strong. And then the attack and defense -3 is going to make sure that she does more damage and that she takes less damage on the counter attack. I feel like Speed Defense Far Trace 3 might have been a better pick for her overall, but that being said, this certainly isn't a bad pick for her. Rouse attack speed 4 for the C slot. At start of turn, if unit is not adjacent to an ally, grants attack speed +6 and null panic to unit for 1 turn. Interesting. I was wondering, because the natural enemy of activated buffs is panic, which obviously reverses the effects of activated buffs like that. And so this null panic will essentially allow her to freely enjoy those activated buffs on her, either through the rouse itself or one of her allies, of course. But again, essentially that fits perfectly and synergizes with what she wants. She wants activated buffs on herself to be able to self-activate and self-proc not only the in-combat buffs that Flame of Muspel will grant her, but also the prevent of units' follow-up attacks, or neutralizing the effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks. And with the rouse skill alone, +6 to attack and speed gives her +12 as far as bonuses are concerned, which means that she meets, without even considering the enemy and what they've got, essentially gives her the prevents unit follow-up attacks built in already. And then the panic ensures that she has that going forward when she's attacking. However, with just that alone, she doesn't maximize the entire stat boosts that she can get with Flame of Muspel. It would be 50% of the 12, so she'd get +6, in addition to the attack and speed +6 that's built in. So looking at the overall buffs that she gets, essentially from her weapon and rouse, from attack and speed, she gets the +6 to attack and speed, then she gets another +6 to attack and speed as an activated buff, then she gets another +6 to attack and speed as the Muspel effect of the 50% of total bonuses. So that's going to be +18 to attack and speed with no other consideration of skills at all, and then she's going to also neutralize effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks. So this is very formidable. It's a very powerful combination of things. I think the fact that she has that rouse, attack, and speed 4 really kind of cinches and kind of sells the character, because otherwise she would be very, very susceptible to panic effects and other neutralization effects like that. So she's definitely going to be a mad powerhouse offensive nuker without any question at all. She's going to get huge, huge bonuses to all of her stats, not just attack and speed, but definitely mostly to attack and speed, which is going to allow her to do tons of damage and double with impunity. So as I kind of suspected, where Fjorm is going to have huge, formidable defenses, on the flip side, Laegjarn is going to be the yin to that yang. She's going to have huge mobility and huge offensive power. And then those two forces are going to clash, naturally. I will say that I think that Ascended Fjorm got the better end of the stick here, at least as far as kind of unique abilities and combination of effects. I think that that hers is a little bit more potent or unique, whereas Laegjarn's role in general as an offensive cavalry archer, can be substituted in a lot of capacities, but she is going to excel in that role. So once again, starting on the 16th of November, new heroes and Ascended Laegjarn. I gotta say that at the end of the day, the primary prize here is going to be Laegjarn, for a variety of reasons. Whether you're a fan of Laegjarn, she's going to be very, very strong and potent. She's going to come with a double boon, double asset, and she's also going to give you an Ascendant Floret to use on one of your other units. And again, those are only obtainable through Ascended heroes and summoning them once. So you have a limited stockpile of getting those. Once again, Ascended Laegjarn is not going to be limited in any way, but this is going to be the best opportunity to get her, because there is going to, of course, be a spark, so you're guaranteed to get a copy if you do go up to the 40 summons on this banner. I'm going to be honest, the rest of the banner, really not that remarkable. Ascended Laegjarn kind of sells this banner as a whole, I think. Putting aside fan favoritism, and if, these are one of your favorite characters, that is what it is, and certainly go for your favorites. That's what's most important. Go for characters that you love. That's what lasts, not this quote-unquote meta. But as far as a power perspective, Laegjarn is definitely, I think, front and center here, and there's a lot of value here in her being guaranteed and you getting an Ascendant Floret for summoning for her. Unfortunately, this banner comes at a time for me personally that's very trying, because I am extremely, extremely low on orbs for a lot of reasons, and I have a lot of targets as well that are coming that I would need to spend orbs on. That being said, I still think that I would probably go up to the Spark for Laegjarn here, because I like Laegjarn a lot as a character, and I could really, really use that Ascendant Floret too. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm still going to evaluate things a little bit later, but that's kind of the game plan for now. But let me know in the comments below if you're excited for Ascended Laegjarn, if you're excited for the other characters on this banner, who you're going to be targeting, who you're going to be pulling for, and if you're willing to go to the Spark, what your strategy is. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching and for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. Certainly hoping you're all staying safe, healthy, secure, and united out there, and wishing the very, very best for you, your family, and your friends. And until next time, let's protect those skies.